Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts. I'm your host, Rudo, joined by AJ Haefele. We are back after Memorial Day, and the Avs decided to have a lot of news happen. Some of it related to them, some kind of tangentially related to them. Anyway, a bunch of stuff happened. We're going to talk about all of it on today's show. Let's start with the best news of the day for the Avs, I guess, or at least certainly the best news of the day for Philipp Grubauer, who has made the final three in Vezina voting in the NHL. Top three goaltender in the league. It just so happens that he will be playing very likely tomorrow night against another goaltender who made the top three in the league in Marc-Andre Fleury. AJ and I were kind of chit-chatting before the show. I think both of us probably are cool with him, think he deserves it. Both a little bit surprised he actually made the top three.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised he made the top three because there was not really a very wide social media campaign or presence made for him, and that's usually how these things happen.
Yep.
I think this is probably the result of people just looking at Grubauer and going, geez,
that guy's pretty good.
His numbers are great. He doesn't really have a single puck mark there.
Yep.
Until you start getting into the
certainly
things
on his simple stats, it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. All of his surface stuff is it's quite excellent, but it's the goals saved above average stuff that you're like,
could be more here. Yeah.
Yeah. This is where this is where he will lose ground here. And didn't matter. So yeah. I'm about it. I think it's awesome for him. I'm surprised. I certainly thought he was going to finish top 5.
Oh yeah, but probably just miss out on the top 3 is I think what we both kind of figured. But
I'm surprised he's a finalist. I have no expectations beyond this. These were the two guys that I think that were the obvious candidates here. A little surprised that Hellebuck, given the Vezina that he just won,
didn't sneak in there. Yeah.
Sure. Didn't get a little bit more love. It's almost like, bro, we gave you the Vezina last year. We expected you to be amazing. And then he was, and they were just like, well, your amazingness is just average. It's just expected.
It's such a tough year because of all the noise, right? You have guys like Nedeljkovic. You have guys like Dreger who put up great numbers, but those dudes started 23 games each.
Yeah. I don't think that's hard. If they had put up, like, you remember a couple of years ago when Brian Elliott put like 40 games in St. Louis and he put up like a 940 save percentage or something?
Yeah.
It was insane. It's like, look, that forces your hand because that is unbelievable. But
how few games is too few?
Well, in a shortened season, if you're not even playing 50% of the games, your play has to be much, 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 much higher than everybody else's to get into the conversation.
For the record, 23 is exactly half.
So
no, that's not right.
No, it's not.
I swear I've looked at numbers before. 23 is significantly less than half. Anyway.
It's like 40%.
Yeah. 23 would be half of 46, only off by 10. Good job, Rudo. Anyway, you have things like that. I see chat talking about it a little bit here, mentioning Varlamov's name as well.
Nope. It didn't continue as the year went on.
Save percentage is still real nice, but I think the league is in a place now where Barry Trotz and the Trot system is a known quantity a little bit.
Yeah, we're like right now while Trotz and Korn are there and Greco are there, those guys are going to be like, you have to put up a high save percentage in that system.
Everybody knows that the defensive system that brings lower goal totals, etc., is going to come out of there.
Yeah.
So
those are like, and that's why you, as a voter, that's why you dig into things, right? Like that's why you get into these conversations, and you start to peel the numbers back, and you start, okay, well, who really did have the most impressive number? And this is really where I think Hellebuyck kind of got the short end here, because when you start to peel those numbers back, like, first of all, Phil Grubauer was playing behind an insane defense. I think I did the math on it, and he faced less than 25 shots per game that he appeared in.
It's like absurd. Yeah. 40 games, 916 saves made on 993 shots. So
yeah,
one of those was a relief appearance, but
I think I should just look this up before I just am wrong about this. But he was top 3 in minutes played among goaltenders this year, and I think he was 15th in shots faced. So
I believe Hellebuyck definitely played more, and Vasilevsky played more.
Yeah,
looks like probably Markstrom played more too.
Okay, well, top 5 then.
Yeah,
I know he was among the league leaders, and because he started constantly.
Yeah, he's 5th. Bennington played more as well.
Okay, so he's 5th in minutes and 15th in shots.
Yep, facing significantly
It's a much lighter workload.
Of the other 4, the lowest shot total is Markstrom with 1161 to Grubauer's under 1,000.
Yeah, so that's
noticeable.
And I think that's part of the conversation there too, is that the Grubauer's workload was just so much easier.
Yep.
And again, you compare it straight up next to Hellebuyck, much tougher job.
Yeah.
Playing behind a really, really, really not good Jets defense.
The argument I would make here, and yes, like, completely valid caveat that he had a lighter workload, but there are 2 goalies, I guess 3 if you count Nedeljkovic, but Fleury and Grubauer were the 2 goalies that played at least 25 games that had the magic goals against of under 2.
Yeah. Like, look, Grubauer's workload might have been lighter, but he also did he did an exceptional job with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm not sitting here saying it's not earned. It's not, it's if any, it was a pleasant surprise that Grubauer got to be a finalist.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think it changes any of the math in the offseason in terms of his contract or anything.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either.
Yeah, I don't see.
You are already paying him to his numbers anyway, so
yeah, exactly. Optically, it would just make it harder to let him walk if he wants to. If he wanted to ask for $8 million a year, it would be a lot harder, just from a PR standpoint, to let him leave when it's like, you're gonna let.
I mean, is that as much
the finalists go?
Is that as much a fear of if he does the thing with the Vezina, which I don't think either of us expect them to come even close to winning, but if he does the thing and gets it, some team out there might actually be crazy enough to give him an $8 billion deal.
Well, if you're starting a franchise brand new, you're the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah.
You're looking at goaltenders.
Here's a top 3-1 in the league last year,
and you have right?
money to spend.
If you're the Edmonton Oilers and it's been a revolving door there, and you're about to buy out Mikko Koskinen's terrible contract, and Mike Smith is 39 years old, is he 39? Is he 40 now? I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
If Mike Smith's over the hill ass is what you're looking at bringing back, and the Oilers actually have some money this year. They actually have some salary cap space. Is that not a temptation to throw $8 million at Grubauer and be like?
I mean, it's Edmonton, so they'll find a way to mess it up. But
let's be real. I think $8 million for Philipp Grubauer would be
probably a mistake. Probably a mistake.
Yeah, I think that it would be messing it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we are trying to set the record for most shows live at once at the moment, I think. So.
Yeah, why aren't the Rockies live right now?
Yeah, get them in on this party we have on our YouTube channel.
Drew and Patrick just being lazy asses right now.
Anyway, look, Grubauer has been great. The numbers show that to a certain extent. Him getting top 3 is great, but doesn't really matter. In one, the sense that I don't think anyone expects them to actually win, but in 2, that anything that would come with this has kind of already played itself out. The only thing that could really increase his value at this point to me is winning a cup.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think that we've talked about this. That look, there's a certain stigma, but like in a positive way, with guys that win Stanley Cups. For goaltenders specifically, for skaters, there's like you have like a contract for life in the NHL. Yeah. You win a Stanley Cup.
Team, especially if you're like a defenseman, teams will just sign you on that forever. Chat, we will get to all of this news you're talking about throughout the show. I promise we'll get there.
Yeah, we're in the first period, so We've got a lot of show left. It's not like when we get that guy that rolls in at the 48-minute mark and is like, "Hey, can you guys talk about this?" And we're like, "Bro, 35 minutes ago, my man."
You all made it on time today. Good job.
We didn't have a show yesterday, so we've got lots to get to today.
Lots of news. Lots of news.
Rudo, what did you do? With no show yesterday, what was your day like?
Oh, man, I didn't do anything useful with my time.
No?
I did nothing. Well, I slept a lot, first of all.
Oh.
Second, then I did nothing. Then the Reeves news came out. So I angry tweeted about that for a while. And then the Leafs game started. So
yeah.
you get some better time in than me, at least.
I was with someone who's a Leafs fan, and it was so heartbreaking for them that I felt bad.
We're talking about this later, but no, I laid in bed until 4 p.m. Listening to Of Monsters and Men and Lord Huron, doing nothing. I just listened to music all afternoon. It was incredibly relaxing and peaceful, and really helped recharge some of the batteries. It was nice. So it was a nice day off. And then the Reeves stuff happened, and it was sort of like this clown-ass league.
Well, we can talk about that again in the second period. First of all, we're brought to you by Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. You can get it on tap down at the DNVR bar, or you can find their beer and hard seltzers at a local liquor store near you. Actually, you can get the seltzers down at the bar now, too. We got all the products down there, so check them out today. Highly recommend. I really, truly believe they do not have a bad beer. I like all of them, so get their stuff, support our partners, be awesome, all that. You know the drill. Breckenridge Brewery is dope. We're also brought to you by Solace Meds. They have 4 different locations here in Denver. I hope y'all checked them out yesterday because they had a bunch of amazing deals for Memorial Day, but they have more coming up as well. Right now, they have some banging deals for the entire month of June, including 15% off all Gold Shelf concentrates, 20% off Wana tinctures and tarts, 20% off all Mountain Select rosin and cartridges, as well as many other products as well. So, check out the products, see what they have special deals on, and don't forget to use code DNVR20 to get 20% off and get a free Solace bar or King cone. Go online, you can purchase your products, set it up for pickup. Just roll in, get your stuff, get out. Super easy at solacemeds.com, SOLACE meds.com. Again, use that DNVR20 code at checkout to get 20% off. And when you're saving money because you're using all of our 20% off codes, use that money you saved for an annual membership to the DNVR. We make a bunch of awesome content, whether it's AJ's writing, whether it's Evan's grades, whether it's our content here on YouTube. I know all of y'all are extremely generous people when it comes to super chats. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. YouTube takes 30% of those. So if you want to support us directly, buy an annual membership to the website, and that will 100% of that essentially will support us. So yeah, hopefully y'all like us enough to do that a little bit. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube video because that helps us a lot too. So do all that, hook us up, do the good stuff, come experience the vibes at the bar. Sure, tomorrow night will be great, and then obviously the weekend games are always crazy at the bar. So come early, come hang out, come have a good time. We're gonna try. I know a lot of you can't make it down, so we're gonna try it. We're gonna see how y'all like me sitting there, probably just swearing a lot on a microphone and camera live for game 2.
Evan's supposed to be there too.
Yeah, I think both of us will probably be on cam live watch along style. A lot of you seemed interested on Twitter, so we'll give it a go. If you guys want to hang out, I'll have chat up live during the game. You can chill.
We are also going to try, depending on which you guys like better. We can't do it at the same time, but having a live shot of the bar throughout the game.
Yeah.
So.
When I'm super boring, you can switch to that one and enjoy the vibes.
Can't do it at the same time, but we can figure out which one.
Yeah, as I'm saying, game 2, I can be there super boring, and then game 3, we can have a live shot of the bar, and people will be like, this is way better. All right. Second period. Let's do the Ryan Reeves conversation first. 2 games. What do you even say? I mean,
1 game for each middle finger that they just gave Nazem Kadri.
That sounds about correct. I mean, I don't know. I said everything I had to say on the show after the game.
Yeah, same.
It's appalling. It's not even a hockey play. In the video from the Department of Player Safety that's released, they're like, all right, check out all these things he did. Also, he agreed that he pulled out part of Ryan Graves' hair and agreed that the only reason he did it was retaliatory. So the implication there being this was blatant intent to injure.
The watching the video as they started to stack everything up, and they were like, okay, well, this was bad, and this was bad, this is bad. This made it worse, and then this made it worse, and this made it worse. Ryan Reeves has been suspended for 2 games.
I think.
All right.
I think the part that struggles for me.
Graves finished the game.
Yeah, he's fine, thankfully. But
he finished the game. He practiced fully. He's good to go.
The part that really
doesn't have as much hair.
I'm struggling with in this is look, reasonable people can disagree. I think the Graves hit was fine. A lot of people don't.
I thought it's bang bang. I think them penalizing it is fine. Because you can make the argument that it's late. Beyond that, I have no issues.
Same. I thought the Pacioretty hit was over the line. A lot of people thought it was fine. Point being, on those two hits, I think there's a real discussion there. And like I said, reasonable people can disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking around Twitter. I'm looking around Reddit. I'm looking around the internet. I don't see a single person defending Ryan Reeves on this. I don't see a single person that doesn't think he should get more. Even Vegas fans, all the Vegas fans think he should get more.
Yeah.
Like, how do you screw it up that badly?
Yeah, the thing that also blew me away was that they hammered Kadri for history.
Yep. Now, Reeves has history.
Reeves was suspended last September in the freaking bubble.
Yep.
And like Kadri obviously like took a year off from his shenanigans, but still got the book thrown at him because of history. Like his history played a big role in that. But Kadri's hit also comes within the context of playing the game. Their hockey things are happening. He's trying to separate a player from a puck. There isn't a single hockey related thing that is taking place while Ryan Reeves is ripping out Ryan Graves' hair and kneeling on his neck. What are you doing? Like, I don't understand why the NHL is dropping the hammer on hockey plays and
not on
essentially giving a free pass here because 2 games for a limited fourth liner, whatever. Like not getting their normal paychecks during the postseason anyway. It's all money that gets split evenly. So
he loses
nothing.
The 8K of his 30K bonus or whatever. Yeah.
He loses 2. He doesn't get to play in 2 of the games.
Pretty much. That's what it is. To chat's point here that some of you are making, look, just go read Evander Kane's tweet about it.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been the worst punishment for Vegas, but there's I mean, at what point are we talking about a Raffi Torres type of situation here where you just can't allow a dude to play in the league? Like, and this conversation is open to more than just Reeves here. You can have this conversation about Kadri too, if you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kadri this was his 5th suspension,
I think. Yeah.
5th or 6th suspension. I think this was his 6th, actually. Now I just want to go dig up the story because I had them all listed out.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's and almost all of them have just been dangerous plays.
Yep.
Not like this was like remember when Eric Johnson got suspended because he hurt Nemesnikov in Denver, and it was like a weird. He hit him when he was like at the goal line, and then he went face first into the boards, and it was like
just
whatever.
A weird play, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like that's a really weird situation, and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Kadri's a lot of them have just been dangerous, and you have to have the same conversation about Kadri that you do all the other guys. I do wonder, especially given that it's George Peros. And that he was Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, the whole
when he
violent
played.
Gentleman connection there.
And
sure is sketchy, but
not even getting into that, but I do wonder, because Ryan Reeves is an enforcer and one of the last ones in the NHL today, I do wonder if like some of the lightheadedness is just because the league is Peros is saying, look, this is his job. This is what his team is paying for him. And that's not the case with Kadri. They're paying that dude for, they're paying that dude to play hockey and actually do things and do something with a puck. Do something other than just go run into people because he's a huge human being. And so I do wonder how much Peros is like, well, I had that job. I'm not gonna drop the hammer on this guy because he's doing what his team asked him to do.
I'm not going to say anything here that the New York Rangers didn't already pay $250,000 to say.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, how can you have that stance as the NHL? Because maybe I'd be more okay with it if the NHL just came out and was like, look, we're okay with hurting people, but not in a hockey play. It just, if your job is to hurt people, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I think it's stupid. I did my best after the Kadri 8-game suspension to wait and not immediately hammer the Department of Player Safety, despite a couple other incidents that were handled lightly after the Kadri suspension. But you give that 2 games, and it's like, I shouldn't have given you the benefit of the doubt anyway, and now I never can again. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a joke, dude.
Yep, agreed. Anyway, putting that away, moving on. Gonna talk about something else.
Oh, my thoughts on Pete DeBoer's comments. Pete DeBoer's a fucking idiot. He can blow it out his ass. I don't know how that man kept a straight face talking about Ryan Reeves as one of the cleanest enforcers that he's ever seen. Shut up, dude. I don't mind you going to the mat for your guy. I understand that as a coach, that's kind of a thing that you have to do. But Jesus Christ, dude, try and maintain some modicum of self-respect while you're doing it. Just blatantly slobbing the knob like that. What an embarrassment, dude.
I mean,
unbelievable.
There's no universe where he believes what he said, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's no universe where Pete DeBoer is seriously like, oh, I have all the respect in the world for Ryan Reeves. He's the cleanest enforcer in my 13 years on the NHL. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, what a joke, dude. Did you feel that way when you were coaching the Sharks? Like, hell no, you didn't feel that way. So again, I completely understand going to the mat for your guy. Like, that's just what a coach does.
Keep it in the realm of reality.
But oh my God, do you need to galaxy brain it? No, just shut up.
We could have easily just said, look, it was after the whistle in a scrum. I thought it was clean. Haven't really looked at any of the tough angles. So we'll see.
Dude, if I'm as fired up about what these clowns are saying as I am, I wonder how a guy like Landeskog feels. Now, I know that they have their sights on a bigger picture. There's a bigger goal in mind than, like, make Pete DeBoer feel bad for stuff that he said. But how do you not want to just, like, stick it to these guys and be like, oh, yeah, is he? All right. And then when you're going through the handshake line at the end of the series, be like, yeah, cleanest enforcer you've ever seen, huh? Fuck you, Pete.
How aggressive do you think Game 2 is going to be because of all of this?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it will be either.
Really? Yeah, you don't think there's going to be retaliation?
No, I think they're gonna tone it back a little bit, and they're gonna see.
My fear isn't Game 2. My fear is Game 4. You put Reeves back in the lineup. DeBoer will probably fucking start him.
Oh, see, mine is Game 3 because it's the old Detroit thing. You wait until you're on your home ice to start some shit.
Definitely. There's a conversation for Game 3 too, but my fear is that Reeves doesn't know how else to do it. He's going to get back in the lineup and he's just going to do the same shit again.
Yeah.
And the Avs are going to be sitting here looking at the NHL like, heaven forbid Reeves does something that hurts somebody. And the Avs are going to be looking at the league like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, we kind of reopened it, but I'm putting it back in the box now and we're moving on.
Yeah. Things aren't going to significantly change with Keegan Kolesar in the lineup.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look, if you're going to try and hide Bowen Byram, he's not the guy that we think he is then.
Yeah, straight up. Anyway, let's talk about the Leafs.
All right.
But not how does it affect the Leafs, but how do the Leafs affect the Avs? Because that's the way this arrow goes this time.
Oh, this is most of my life anyway. Anything that happens in the NHL, my first thought is, all right, what does this mean for Colorado?
Yeah, same. But the meme is, how does this affect the Leafs? So,
yeah.
With the Leafs dropping Game 7 to Montreal, Avs are guaranteed, if they get through Vegas, which is a big if, they will play the representative from the North Division in the semifinal, no matter what, that being Winnipeg or Montreal. The AJ has said since the dawn of man that none of these teams scare him, so does it really matter?
When you look at Montreal versus Winnipeg, man, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Like somebody in the chat earlier was like, oh, I got to go, but I definitely don't want to see Carey Price in round 3. So you'd rather see Connor Hellebuck? Sorry, but to me, that's a lot worse.
Yeah, I think I'd take Price right now.
Well, that's a lot worse. Plus Winnipeg has centers. Like Mark Scheifele and PLD and Paul Stastny, like those guys, they have actual guys down the middle, whereas Montreal is just a bunch of donut lines.
Yeah, Winnipeg's defense is juicy,
Winnipeg's defense sucks, and Montreal's defense is like, well,
it's serviceable.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of solid dudes there.
We'll see.
Wow.
I think either series would be certainly favorable for the Avs, but as AJ goes, wow.
Do you want to break some news?
Is it the news that I think it is?
You're not going to like it.
Yeah, it's the news that I think it is. That's okay. I kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Sasha Mutala will be going back into the draft.
Yeah. Not surprised, given that he wasn't signed, but that's real dumb.
I don't.
Why did you draft him? He did what he did, and you don't sign him. Why did you draft him?
Let's do the Toronto thing first.
Okay.
Let's talk about that, and then we can save this for at the end.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Toronto.
Nick Suzuki's okay. Like, I think Nick Suzuki in 2 or 3 years is going to be real good. But right now, nope.
Yeah.
Is Nick Suzuki today any better than Mark Scheifele, Pierre-Luc Dubois, or Paul Stastny?
I don't think it's even close. Is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
same.
You have, I guess, 2 solid years. Let's be fair. But you're not anywhere near the core of forwards that Winnipeg has. In any case, first of all, is Toronto haunted? AJ, I know you believe in ghosts.
I mean, believing in ghosts and believing in like franchise curses those are a little different, right? Also, what is Toronto cursed by? Like the Red Sox, it was like the curse of the babe. You know, the Cubs, it was the curse of the Billy Goat, right? Like there were curses in place here. What is this? The curse of incompetence?
Maybe.
The curse of choking.
Yeah, like this isn't a curse. You're just bad at your jobs. But I also, I'm not an expert on hockey history. So it can't be Dubas. This has been going on way before.
Yeah.
It's been going on since that dude was in diapers.
Probably before that. Is he 40? He might be. I don't actually know how old Dubas is.
Dude, he looks like he's 14.
He's 35. Yeah. Way, way before Dubas was even a twinkle in his dad's eye. Anyway, it's been 14, 15 years since their last playoff round win even?
2004.
16 years, 17 years then?
This is the second time in this show that Rudo has
taught us math on stream.
The important lesson of do not do math like live on air.
I got there in the end, 17. Thank you, chat. Much appreciated.
Did you know it was 17?
I'm not 17, you say.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling to win in the playoffs, but you know what? Not my problem. Never been my problem. On the other side of the coin, how do you not feel great about the Avs' path to the finals?
Yeah, so from a Colorado perspective, look, you get through Vegas. Vegas was always been sitting here as like the roadblock. Right? Like the roadblock. Do not do meth on the air.
Also true. Good advice.
This is chat is killing it today. Chat has its priorities straight. No, look, St. Louis, not very good. Smoked. Vegas is hurting a little bit after a 7-game series. They might, if this compromised version of Vegas continues and this ends up being a short series, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then after that, obviously you get the North Division. That's just you're looking at Boston Islanders and Carolina Tampa. All 4 really good teams, different calibers, different styles, different whatever, right? And you're just going, only one is only one will matter to us.
You take what you take in the Cup Finals.
Like it's Highlander style. One will be standing, and then I have to go and cut his head off, and then that's how it's going to be. That's how we award the cup now. I trust Nathan McKinnon to cut the other guy's head off.
All right. George Peros is taking notes.
George Peros is like, oh, you cut a man's head off? 3 games. That's a week off.
All right.
So, yeah. Look, if they make the Stanley Cup Finals, I'll write a script for a hype video featuring that song. we can do a Highlander style video. That'd be fun. A Highlander parody for the Cup Finals. That'd be a good time.
Just like ruin our production team's lives for a week and see how many swords they can shop into hockey players.
She's already excited. You see that face?
Yeah, she looks super pumped for that.
She's very done. She's probably Googling Highlander right now, trying to figure out what all of this means.
My high school mascot was a Highlander.
All right.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is a
weird mascot.
Yeah. So good news, since people are talking about this in the chat, I got the approval for me to travel to Canada today. Technically, that email was sent yesterday. I just didn't check it. So I got it today. So I could theoretically go to Canada to cover the Avs next series. Yes. Because, that's why I applied for it.
100% was all about work.
Yep.
I don't know if they have a series, would you even be allowed a place to stay in Canada?
Look, they're separate floors.
Okay, there you go.
We got separate floors, all right?
All right. I won't dig any deeper on that one.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be real fun, everybody being super focused on our relationship for a round if that happens.
Well, we'll leave it at that.
I want to actually talk about this Leafs thing.
Okay.
I think it's kind of interesting.
AJ wants to dig in.
What the hell do you do?
I don't know. I legitimately don't know what you do with that hockey team.
Like you have a star player problem. Everybody wants to talk about heart and grit and the want to and all of that, right? Like that's always every hockey team's failing starts there.
Sure.
They didn't want it enough. They didn't have players, the right kind of players. But like Tyson Jost has outscored Mitch Marner in this postseason.
Yeah. I mean, Matthews 5 points in 7 games.
And what, 1 goal?
1 goal. Arguably, I mean, Willie was their best player. Arguably, Alex Kerfoot was their second best player. After that, you have Jason Spezza with 5 points. Like,
what do you do?
What can you do? Like, what can you do? Like, and like, just look at the series. This series was 3-1. The first 5 games of this series, you take that every single time.
Which is why I'm kind of dismissing the whole JT injury thing.
Yeah,
because that happened at the very beginning of the series, and they went up 3-1.
They won games 2, 3, and 4 without him.
Yeah,
they arguably should have won Game 6. Didn't. They almost pull off the miracle in Game 5. Don't. And then
they weren't even particually competitive in Game 7.
No, they completely shit the bed in Game 7.
Watching them last night reminded me of what the Avs looked like in Game 1 against Calgary.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. Just going through the motions.
Stuck in neutral, dude.
Like no competitive fire, there wasn't the guy out there that was doing anything. Like it's I'm not a body language expert, and I usually don't like to read a lot into stuff, but look at how Brad Marchand reacted when he scored the game-tying goal.
Yeah.
Against the Islanders last night.
Yeah.
And that guy has a Stanley Cup. Like that guy,
and he's just pure energy.
It's just right. Like and the dude it's just a bolt of lightning to him, right? Like he's just so excited about it. He wants it so bad. You could see how much he cares. Where was that with Toronto? And this point from Shayna, I made this exact point last night talking about it on Discord with some people. You could see the Avs play with a certain amount of joy.
Yep.
And Toronto doesn't. They just look miserable. They don't look like they like each other. They don't look like they want to be there. They don't look like they want to play together. What do you do when that has like crept into your locker room? How did the Avs fix it? Because it's something that we used to see all the time here.
Yeah.
Starting in right about 2009 up until right about November of 2017.
Just
you saw a lot of that.
Just throwing some random dates out there.
So where, how do you fix that? How do you there's clearly at its core, there's a culture problem here.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be tough, right? Because you talk about the culture in Colorado, but you were there. At the end of 2017, the culture problem in Colorado was being covered by one dude, you.
Yeah, I remember that.
In Toronto,
Oh,
there's 30 dudes in there every night, no matter what.
Yeah.
And the media frenzy that gets whipped up there, it would honestly, it was almost like the Leafs were playing like they had already lost when Game 7 started.
Well, and I will tell you, I know I've told this story before, but just from a media perspective, Nazem Kadri, I remember like the second or third day of training camp, him standing there at his locker. One guy had just talked to him, and we had all talked to him the day before. Like, oh, new guy, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then the next day, we were all moved on to other things, and he stood there in his locker, and he just goes, "Is that it?" And left. Like,
couldn't even believe it. Yeah,
such a different culture there, where every single thing that you do in Toronto is it's picked apart, and the players are excoriated for everything.
Yep.
You know, like they I mean, you had a prominent member of the media up there making up stories about a goddamn hot dog vendor to try and run one of the star players out of town.
Yeah, but that created a whole temple. All right.
It was, yeah, sure. But it was like, it's insane.
It is. It's absolutely nuts.
Like that. And I don't, there's no solution to that. It's not like media is just suddenly going to be like, well, I guess we're done covering the team because we're too mean to them. That's not going to happen. The fans aren't going to be any less passionate, any less over the top. These guys have to figure out how to succeed there.
Well, and I think it's so tough because how in the greater media, a lot of these moments are cemented by who screwed up on the Leafs. Like the big moment in this series in Game 6 is everybody thinks of it as the Travis Dermott turnover. Unless you're a Habs fan, then it's Kotkaniemi sniping. But like nationally, it's Travis Dermott fucked up. And this goes back, if you go back into the last handful of years, every major Leafs blew it moment seems to be the bigger narrative, seems to be the Leafs player that screwed up. And I think about the Avs eliminations in past history. As someone who covers the Avs, my take on them are not which Avs screwed up. My takes on them are the Nino Niederreiter snipe, the Kiviranta goal, hat trick goal, and then the San Jose debacle is on the refs more than anything. But my point being, somehow the media has twisted this into it being the thing that went wrong for the Leafs instead of the things that their opponents did right. And both are probably true, but
I mean, sometimes that happens, right? You look at what the Nuggets did in the postseason last year.
Sure.
And the story is all about how Utah and LA collapsed with 3-1 leads. It's not that Denver came back from 3-1 leads. That's not looked at in the NBA. That's not looked at as an accomplishment for Denver, but as a pockmark against those two other teams. I think that's just a thing I think that's a media problem, man. Negativity sells. If you and I got on here and we were like, it was all kumbaya, the Avs are super good, we would have a good following and people would like us and it would be great. That's mostly what we've done this year. If we got on here and we just blasted hot take after hot take, we wouldn't have the audience that we do have, but it would probably be a bigger audience because people feed off of the negativity from media now.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it feels like there are moments that get cemented in history. And far too many of the ones that come out of the Leaf side of things are portrayed in a way that Leafs bad, not opponent good. And look, part of that is because the Leafs have the biggest media coverage of any hockey team, right? So they're going to have the overriding voice of viewing it from a Leafs lens.
Yeah.
But playing in a city where failure is now, let's be real, the expectation, not they could mess up. Failure is now everyone is waiting on the edge of their seat to see you fail. That's hard. I mean, that is tough. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously they have demons they have to exercise.
Yep.
I mean, you have to get through some of that.
Yeah.
But I just don't think. I don't know, man. They threw this away. Montreal's not a good hockey team.
Look, I agree. Like, the Leafs are not blameless here by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm also saying, like, I think a lot of hockey players that grew up in Canada think they want to play for the Leafs. And then they play for the Leafs.
Look at all the old guys that flock there for league minimum every year because they're like, oh, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to play in front of these fans. I've always wanted to. And now, today, Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton and Wayne Simmons, they're all waking up. Do you think they still want to do that?
They really like their time there? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they did. Maybe they absolutely loved it. I genuinely don't know. I don't want to cast that aspersion, but it
certainly doesn't seem like the younger core is loving their time there. I'll put it that way.
I will say, just my personality, when we all are like, oh, what would be on your list of 10 cities where you don't want to get traded to? Toronto would be on mine.
It'd be real high on mine too.
Yeah, it's always on mine.
You could do the same thing in Sunrise, Florida, and no one would care.
Well,
whether you're great or whether you suck.
Well, and that's like the opposite, right? That would also be probably on mine because
it wouldn't be on mine. I'd be all over that.
Oh no, I would not. I can go to Dallas for that and just go back home.
Nah, that's true.
Anyway, point is, my real focus here was, what do the Leafs do? What does the organization do? You go into this offseason, what do you do? They've tried, they've worked really hard to balance things, to balance the roster. TJ Brody, they bring in TJ Brody, they bring in Jake Muzzin. They're trying.
I don't have the answer for that, and unless you are intimately familiar with that locker room, I don't think anyone has the answer for that. So that's just tough. If anyone knows what they need, I imagine the people who know best are the players in that locker room.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know what to do. Austin Matthews and Mitch Martin, these are great hockey players.
Matthews shot 3% in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, and we also had this conversation last year when Toronto had a 2% shooting against Columbus or something. But look,
when it keeps happening,
the reality is this keeps happening. And if every single year you're just going to be like, oh, well, this guy shot 3%, and then it's a 7-game series, you're never going to have a sample size for that to work out.
Yep.
The reality is that you roll into the postseason, if you're a tip-top player making $11 million, you'd better goddamn well play like it.
Yep.
Watching all of those guys get like Willie Nylander's their best. You said it, that he was their best player.
Yep.
He was really good. Where's that at from the other two? But so much focus on the depth and this and those guys need to do their jobs. They need to step up. They just have to play better. I don't know. I don't know that there's something super magical. Yeah. I love that they call it the perfection line. And every time the perfection line in Boston goes up against Colorado's top line, which is what it's just called, Colorado's top line. It doesn't have a stupid nickname. Unless you go with Three-Headed Monster, in which case that's a great nickname. That line smokes Boston every time they match up.
Yeah.
All twice a year. Yes, they did, Nick.
Yeah. I look, the difference between Mitch Marner and Philipp Grubauer was 3 assists in round 1.
Do you think do you think that they make the Seth Jones for one of those forwards move to try and further balance this out?
Does it matter?
It could. We're heading into an offseason where there's a good chance Jack Eichel and Seth Jones get traded.
I mean, look, the offseason would be insane, but
and Calgary has the possibility of blowing that whole thing up, in which case the market's going to get flooded with like solid players.
Maybe. I mean, how many times in a row can Toronto buy the guy that has 1 year left on his deal?
Yeah, but I mean, that would be you'd have to have a conversation with him, obviously, beforehand and be like,
True,
okay.
Sure. There's deeper conversation there, which I'd love to have, but we can do that in the off season.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, is there? Yeah, I am not a Seth Jones fan by any stretch, but that just because we look at a bunch of fancy stats and we see that his on ice results have taken a huge dip, a front office is going to look at Seth Jones and they're going to see a 6'4" right-handed D-man that can play in all situations, a two-way guy, and they're going to blow right through the on ice results of this year, and somebody's going to go hard for that guy. Somebody's going to do something irresponsible for Seth Jones, and it's going to be fascinating to see.
So chat, maybe you're like the Leafs, right? Okay. Maybe you're looking at your package and you think, what do I change here?
I already knew it. I literally turned to Kale and say, oh God, hold on.
See, there's now a Manscaped voice that he does. It just changes every time. We've got this down. You've got to hide this better.
I don't need to hide anything. All right.
And
certainly not my
trying
package
to hide
after
it.
it's Manscaped. Exactly.
There it is.
Exactly right. Go over to Manscaped. Get the perfect package 4.0. Get the new lawnmower 4.0. Get your package ship-shape. Don't get it knocked out in the first round. You know how it goes. You can also shave any hair on your body. It's great for your chest, your beard, your hair, you name it. It's all awesome. Use code DNVR to get 20% off and free shipping with our boys over at Manscaped. Also brought to you by Haefele Cattle Company. Damn good beer. Now we got damn good beef as well. You can get their Wagyu beef burgers down at the DNVR bar. Highly recommend you get them because they are absolutely delicious. When you love them, you can go over to HaefeleCattleCompany.com and order yourself some meats, whatever you like, whether it be any of their Wagyu products or other steaks as well. $200 gets you free shipping if you want to go in on like a group order or something like that. So get on that. Use code DNVR10 to get 10% off your entire order. 2, just for kicks. And of course, we have you covered with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 rated sportsbook app out there. Use code DNVR over there to get your new account signed up for amazing odds boosts. You can get different odds boosts on all awesome sports every single day. So check them all out. They have sick deals when you sign up with a new account as well. I don't even know the one they're running right now because they keep changing them on me. So apologies. Here we are. All right. All right. So their current odds boost when you sign up for a new account with code DNVR, they are running the $1 into $100 in site credit deal. Pick any basketball team to win. You win $100 when you bet $1. Super easy way to get yourself some sweet cash flow and bet on whatever you like going forward. Use those odds boosts. Bet on the Avs if you're vibing it. Bet on the Nuggets if you're vibing it. Bet on Aaron Rodgers to come to the Broncos tomorrow if you're vibing it. Jump in. DraftKings. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Wager paid out in site. Credits. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-522-4700. Okay. Sad boy hours time.
There was a question in here about Friday night.
Friday night. I don't see it. But
from Zach. He says, if I was planning to come out to the DNVR bar on Friday for the Avs game, what time should I arrive to have dinner and a seat for the game? What time is the game?
I believe that's the 6:30 game, right? Or is that another? No, that might be an 8 o'clock game too. I don't actually know.
I'm pretty sure it's 8, but I'm double checking.
4. I think the game 4 is the 6:30 game.
Yeah, it is an 8 o'clock game on Friday.
So I would say 6.
Yeah. So just the reality of this is that seats have been getting filled up really, really quickly on our game days. So honestly, 2 hours is we ran out of tables for game 1. We ran out of tables 2 hours before.
Yeah, it was standing room only 2 hours before, so definitely get there early.
Yeah, so if it's an 8 o'clock, do what you can.
Yep.
But also make friends and don't be scared to go up to a table and talk to them, because we had a few people who got there 2 hours early who went to the game, so they just wanted to come and get a beer real quick, and then they went to the game. So a few tables did open up.
Yeah.
But still recommend getting there early. But make friends. You might see someone who's like, oh, actually, we're leaving. And then you're like, oh, awesome, I got this.
And that's also a thing, because there have been some groups where it's like a group of like 5 people are sitting in one really big booth, right? And it's like, make friends.
Yeah. All right.
That's kind of the whole point of this, is that you want to do this with Avs peeps.
As always, if you see us at intermission or pregame, shout at us, say hello.
Yeah.
AJ is probably working the game. Well, not game 3. You'd have to go to Vegas for that, but
yeah. I wish, man.
Yeah.
I wish there was reason to go.
Yeah, right. That'd be nice, but no locker room access. Okay. So I'm sad about Sasha Mutala now. The end.
Sorry, man. So the thing that I'm annoyed about is that this is several years now that they've done this, where Brandon Sagan.
Yep.
No real plan. Don't give him an ELC. Don't rush him to pro hockey. They take a little older guy. It doesn't go their way. And then Luka Burzan. He's a year older.
Also, now they did not sign him as of today.
And then Luka Burzan, another guy. He's 19 years old. He wasn't 20 like Sagan was when he was drafted, but 19. No real plan there. Send him back to the Dub and just kind of hanging around, right? All right, and then last year, the Swedish overage kid.
Yeah.
Niles Ullman.
Yeah. I mean,
what are we doing here? What is the thought process behind something that has consistently not worked?
You're, on the one hand, they are late round picks, right? So you're not like blowing up big value here necessarily, at least at the time of the pick. But you're lighting these picks on fire.
Yeah.
What Go look at Brandon Sagan and what he did after he was drafted. Go look at Luka Berzin and what he did after he was drafted. Go look at Sasha Mutala and what he did after he was drafted. And what more could these kids have possibly have done to earn a contract? If you're not going to sign them after the seasons they had in their D+1s, and in some cases they're D+2 because they're second time through, but whatever. Yeah. If you're not going to sign them after the years they've had, there was literally no point in drafting them because they almost, I think all of them had point per game or better seasons.
If the guy that they just promoted would have been as responsible for the Berzin and Mutala
getting the WHL guys in at very least.
Yeah. Exactly. Those two guys then as Haefele.
Yep.
Although it would be funny to see them draft Mutala again with their 6th rounder this year. Or what do they have? 5th rounder? It's just their 7th, isn't it?
They'd have to draft them in the 3rd or 7th.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I mean, that would probably send me over the top if they draft him again instead of just signing him to a deal.
Like, we really like him, but we really don't want to put him on an ELC. We'd love to see where he is in 2 years.
Yeah. That's dumb.
It would be stupid. It would be funny. What else are you gonna do with that 7th round pick? They're just gonna take a different guy who's his second time through.
Yeah, and look, like, totally get Mutala. I was always hype on. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who can tell you, I don't like this about his game. Down on this thing, but my point holds as I look up his stats. So in his D+1, he had 67 points in 62 games with 28 goals. This year, he played 6 games with the Eagles, had 1 assist, played 4 games in the ECHL, had 3 goals, and had 20 points in 19 games when the WHL came back. And, like, for real, if I'm Sasha Mutala right now, what do you say? Like, what am I supposed to do to earn an NHL contract?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to project out what their rosters, what their contracts look like next year because right now it's just such a cluster. But they have guys that are leaving. They've got guys coming in. Obviously, they've got the influx of guys coming in, but they have enough guys.
Look, Sheldon Dries, UFA at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Michael Vecchione, UFA at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Travis Barron and Ty Lewis, RFAs at the end of the year.
They will cut ties with.
Yeah, it is not hard to find a spot on the AHL team for this guy.
Yeah. It takes me about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not far.
I think it's like a 10-minute Uber. Yeah, it takes around 10 minutes.
Just hop on Colfax and head east, and you get there quick.
It's like Colfax to Spear.
Yeah.
It's really not. There are a lot of hotels between them that you would be okay staying in. It's not. It's not a bad drive at all. So anyway. I'm disappointed with the Mutala thing. I'm not surprised by the Berzin thing.
Berzin was less surprising. It's still disappointing that it's the same pattern of wasting draft picks to do nothing with them, but
yep, it happens. But it's disappointing because it's just like this was a guy that he could do so many different things. He's a jack of all trades guy, and his number one thing was like he just needs to get bigger and stronger.
I mean, honestly, the Berzin and Sagan situations are almost more egregious.
I think they're worse. They're absolutely look. You draft guys and don't sign them to ELCs all the time.
Sure,
like every single draft class.
There's a bunch of dudes who don't deserve a contract. Like, totally.
That just happens. That is what's what's gone on with Mutal is just a thing that happens. It's just a disappointment because you have always been
high
a
on him.
Mutala fanboy,
Yep.
and I agreed with you after the last year where it was like, this is easy.
But look, with Mutala, they had 2 years. They took their 2 years. Maybe they saw something they didn't like. Whatever.
Yeah.
With Sajin and Berzan, they knew what they were getting into when they drafted them. They knew they had 1 year left.
Yeah.
Of junior hockey, and then they needed to do something, and they kind of just didn't with either of them.
Right. With Sajin, he was they drafted him and sent him for a true overage year.
Yep.
And then we're like, go play in the ECHL.
And they were
like,
had
hey,
not for a pandemic, they probably would have done the same thing to Berzan.
And they were like, hey, if you have a good year, we'll give you an ELC. And then he didn't. He had a terrible year in the ECHL.
Yep.
I don't know. I just frustrating, but starting to see some mock drafts. I believe the lottery is tomorrow.
Yep.
So, any deep thoughts on that? The lotto. Just don't fill the Central with top 5 picks.
You know, Buffalo's fallen to 3. I guess they can only fall to 3 now. But
I'm curious where Seattle gets.
Yeah, that'll be interesting
because we were just talking about it with Ken from the Sinbin last week. But how different is Vegas?
Got screwed, yeah.
Yeah, how different is Vegas history if they have Elias Pettersson?
Hoo-hoo.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, potentially franchise changing stuff. I know you and I are kind of down on this year's draft, but being down on a draft doesn't mean there aren't stars at the top of that thing somewhere.
Yeah, well, and you know, when it comes to look, we've already said the Avs will. The Avs will have a pick no higher than 28 in the first round.
Yep, that is the best that they can do.
Basically, for me, I'm like just hope that a goaltender falls.
Look, they're going to take who they're going to take in what is hopefully like the 5 days before the draft. AJ and I will crash course it, but.
Yeah, it really depends on when this season ends.
Yep. If it ends in a week, we'll have more time. But
I don't think Kosa will be available at 28. That's just my hope.
Dude, they've been putting him in like the low teens lately.
I know. I've been seeing some of that, and I'm like, dude. I understand this is a weird draft class, but yikes.
Some of them lists are out there, man.
Yeah, well, and I think this is going to be the year where those lists we're going to see by far
massive variance.
Yeah, the divergence in opinion is going to be huge because exposure and process and all these things are going to be so different. The draft is going to be totally different this year.
Yep.
And I'm glad that we really don't have to go hard at it. Like if they could find a way to get rid of their 3rd and their 7th before draft day, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, look, I have no doubt when we get there, we'll do our due diligence on their first. But if they still have their 3rd,
we'll do work.
We'll throw a couple names we like out there, but
yeah,
you know,
we're not doing 100 player profiles and all that stuff.
Yeah, right. No, exactly.
It will be a different look from us.
Yeah.
So you guys. All these people making the Scott Parker jokes, like he's a firefighter now. Just let him be. let him do his thing.
Someone made a meme of them signing Zadorov, who like he can't even fight though.
You know what it's like? Look, he was always big, but he wasn't like a particularly.
He couldn't throw him.
Yeah, he wasn't useless like Nichushkin, but. You didn't ever watch a Zadorov fight and be like,
well, he whooped that dude.
Yeah, it was like, well, eventually he was much bigger and he got tired of throwing punches, so he tackled him.
Apparently, you just call up Kyle Burrows if you want that to happen.
Bro. It's a big ask, but I'll let Kyle Burrows take on Ryan Reeves.
The Avs are up 3-0, and you roll into Game 4 with the 3-0 series lead. Do you maybe just...
No.
Yeah, me either.
Look, if you can get Ryan Reeves to take that fight, I will buy you that DNVR membership.
Yeah, straight up. It's like you're bordering on Jake Paul versus Evander Kane territory.
I was going to ask, what are the Paul brothers up to?
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we're wrapping up the show now.
We're good to go. I'm good to go. I've got some writing I want to do.
I did see someone asking about Saad. The short answer is yes, the Avs should bring him back if he's affordable. We've talked about it a bunch of times. Go look at one of our old shows to get more in depth on it.
Yeah. A recent one too, where we talked about Landeskog and Grubauer.
Literally like last week sometime.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out. In any case, thank you.
Shayna says she'll poke him with his cane.
Oh man,
with their cane. That's,
there you go. That's you really getting them.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, someone pokes you with a cane, like what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, all right, this is a lose-lose for me.
Yeah.
There's no way I come out of this okay. I just need to leave the situation.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, however you consume the pod. Very appreciated, all of you here. I see these numbers still. I know a lot of y'all are new. I know a lot of you are just popping in. So like and subscribe, please. It helps us out a ton on YouTube.
Hopefully you guys stick around.
Yeah. If you like the content, keep watching, keep following us. Usually we're the only ones that go live around 1 p.m. Mountain, but some days there's 3 of us.
Yeah.
Keep tuning in. Please tune into the post-game pods, especially. We love the vibes at the bar if you can make it down. Or, check out our watch-along second screen live shenanigans that we do on Wednesday. Should be fun one way or another. Until next time, we will talk to you all later.